Hey everyone, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. Today we are cash stuffing money into our sinking funds and savings challenges for our first paychecks of November. Welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Laura. I'm a teacher, a mom, a budgeter. We use a zero-based budgeting system, sinking funds, and savings challenges to help us stay on track with our finances. I also primarily work with prop money in my budgeting systems, but do have a little real cash that we work with here as well. If these are things that interest you, take a moment, hit that subscribe button to join me along on my journey each week. Here we go. It is time to cash stuff money from our first paychecks of November. Can you believe it? November is here. We have 2 more months of 2025. I've got my bundles of money here. As I mentioned, we do primarily work with prop money. The prop money then helps us save for different categories and some short-term sinking funds that we have, as well as our long-term in our high yield. And then we do have a small amount of cash that we save for some savings challenges, as well as for some variable spending. Let's go ahead and start with our real cash here. So I do have these little bank teller slips here that are created through my Google Sheets spreadsheet that I use. Maybe one day if you're interested, I can go ahead and share that. It's pretty extensive, but it's like very specific to us and what works for us in our budget. And through all the formulas and things like that, I have learned and edited it over like a number of years now. So it really has grown into something that works for our family, but maybe sort of a basic version I can share at some point. But I do have it set up to create these little bank teller slips for me, and my bank loves these. I go in and I go ahead and show this when I ask for the cash that I would like at that time, and they always like make a comment, and they know me now when I go in, and they absolutely love them. Now, for the prop money, I'm not going into the bank for these ones, but it does help me as my own little bank teller here of my prop money to know how much of each bills to go ahead and pull. We should have $180 here to cash stuff. Let's give it a count. We have 50, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, and 80. Okay, it's driving me crazy that these $1 bills are like upside down and in a different order. This is how I received them, but I don't know. Are you like me? Does everything need to be in the same kind of order here and appearance in terms of which way our bills face? Hopefully you are with me. Let me know in the comments down below. If not, hey, you do you, right? All right, so we have our $180 here to cash stuff. Let's go ahead and put it in our tray. And we have 2 binders that this money primarily goes into. We have our binder that we use for some variable categories, and then we have our letterbox savings challenges. If you have been here before, then you know exactly where those dollar bills are headed. Okay, let's go ahead and begin here. So our household category is going to get $30, and that is in all 10s here. So we'll go ahead and start there. And these are pretty much the same every pay period for us. I'm going to go ahead and take a 20 and a 10, and this is going to go to our wallets that I'll put off to the side here. Then we have our fun category, and it's going to get $5. And pretty much all of these categories get $5 with the exception of a few. So now our fun envelope has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And these are just some of our categories that we have for our variable expenses that it's just nice to have some real cash on hand for these areas. Our girls envelope is also going to get $5 here. It now has 5, 10, and 15. Our pets category here is one that does get a different amount compared to the others. It's going to get $55 here. This is money that we use for our groomer. So this envelope now has 50, 70, 90, 110, 120, 125, 130, 135, 140, 145, 150, and 155. $155 here for our pets envelope. Our groomer prefers cash as the main method of payment, so we go ahead and make that possible with this envelope. Miscellaneous is going to get $5. 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 is now what this has. Some of these envelopes do tend to build. Sometimes if they get to a certain amount, we will go ahead and maybe make some other decisions with it, but otherwise we just continue to let them build. $5 is going into to our giving envelope, 5, 10, 15, and 20. This is great when some fundraisers pop up at school or other things where, maybe some kids are selling some items door to door for a fundraiser. It's just great to have some of that real cash on hand for that. School is going to get $5 here as well, and 5, 10, 15. So this is great for any school events, maybe a field trip or something that comes up that we can easily pay in cash. Sports and activities here is going to get $5, and we usually use this for like entries or concessions into different sporting events at this point. So now it has $10 here. Football season is now over, so that will probably start the build here a little bit. Celebrations and gifts is also, you guessed it, $5 here. 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 is now what this envelope has. And then we move on to holidays and birthdays. Holidays and birthdays, yep, $5 again. Oops, grab 2 there. We've got 5, 10, 15, and 20. So $20 now in our holidays and birthdays envelope. And then lastly here, we do have a variable cash cushion that we have. Let me fix that 5 there because that will drive me crazy. There we go. Okay, so our variable cash buffer here, $5 again is what it receives. A 5, 10, 15, and 20 is what it has total. That leaves us here with our 21s. And as I mentioned, if you've been here before, then you know exactly where those 21s are headed. They are going to go to our Letterbox savings challenges. These are the only savings challenges that we do save real cash for. So we have our 21s here. We save then $10 a week for our Letterbox savings challenges. If we do have some change in ones that we receive from our variable spending, we'll go ahead and add that in there too. We just go ahead and shove those 21s there in the back, and then we pull out what we are able to each week for our Letterbox. We do complete our Letterbox savings challenges on Tuesdays with our Tiny Tuesdays. So if you have not yet seen one of those videos, definitely go and find one of my Tiny Tuesdays to see my Letterbox challenges in action. So our real cash is now stuffed and done, and that's going to lead us into our prop money here. So we have 2 different bundles here that go to some short-term sinking funds. We've got our blue binder and our red binder. So we have 3 banks that we primarily work with. We have 2 banks that each have a savings account and a checking account. One is used for more variable expenses. The other is used for more fixed expenses. And then we have our high yield savings account as well. So we have one paycheck go to one bank, another paycheck go to another bank, and then our high yield savings is really a combo of both that we're able to then shift over into that high yield savings account. So let's go ahead and start with our blue binder here. We should have $190 that we're able to stuff. Let's go ahead and give it a count. Make sure we do have our 190, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, and 90. Okay, we've got it. Sort of an awkward count there, but we've got our 190. Let's go ahead and set it up here. Ooh, that dollar was acting a little funky there. There we go, $190 to go ahead and cash stuff. So our blue binder is coming in here for this one. So again, these are more short-term revolving sinking funds or just things that are connected to this particular bank. We start off here with subscriptions, which is going to get $23, 1, 2, and 3. These are non-negotiable categories that we cash stuff, and then we have other areas in here that we fuel with our Mini Monday savings challenges. So now our subscriptions has 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 201, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Definitely use some condensing in here, so $212. The way that we figure out how much to add per pay period is we track all of our subscriptions. These are mainly like yearly subscriptions. We go ahead and track all of that and then know the total that we spend in that area on subscriptions for the year, divide it out by 24 because we have 24 pay periods, and that tells us how much to save each pay period so that we have enough when that bill comes and that date pops up. Amazon subscriptions is our next category. Very similarly, we do this. So we have 27 that we're going to add to this category. Again, we just kind of track and know how much we spend for the year for different Amazon subscriptions that we have. Take that total, divide it out by 24, and that tells us how much to save. Oh, the pup's shaking it out to save each pay period. Amazon subscriptions now has 20, 40, 50, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. So this gets pulled from, kind of more often because we have subscriptions that are either every 3 months, every 4 months, maybe every 6 months, maybe longer, but it just ensures that we have enough to cover it when those things come up. And then they don't break like our household budget, or they don't break our health and beauty budget for things that are more stock up items, because we have a pretty strict number that we try to stick to in our budget each month. Chewy is up next here. $30 is what Chewy is receiving. These are for things that are, again, are not monthly, but things that are more 3-month or 4-month basis, like some supplements and things. So now we have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 30, 40, 50, 55, 51, 52, and 53. So 153. I do know we are going to need a refill here soon on one of our pups' supplements, and so that will definitely be used for that. And again, that just helps to make sure that because it's a pricier item, it doesn't break our pet's budget that we already allocate monthly for their food and things like that. Haircuts and beauty is also going to get $30 here, a 20 and a 10. And this is just building for some haircut needs for myself and my daughters. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So $150 now that we have in our haircuts and beauty envelope, which is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and jump over to celebrations and gifts. We're going to add $5 here to this one. This we used to just save primarily with savings challenges for, but then I found like I kind of have an idea of how much we spend for the year when certain birthdays and celebrations and things pop up. So I decided to make this more of a non-negotiable in addition to using savings challenges to help fund it, to go ahead and make sure that we have enough when things pop up. So we got 5, 10, 15, and 20. The one thing about savings challenges, I love them, but they're a little bit more kind of variable, and so they're not necessarily consistent. And so with our pay periods, we try to be consistent in some areas that we can be a little bit more predictable with. Holidays and birthdays is another one. I've kind of looked at all of our holidays and birthdays between the nieces and nephews and, so on and so forth, and how much do we need for the year for those things, and then just, again, dividing by 24 to break it down per pay period, but also using those savings challenges as well. So we're adding $15 here, so we'll go ahead and put that in. Now holidays and birthdays has 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, and 81. So we kind of changed our system a little bit recently, adding a little bit of money into our celebrations and gifts and holidays and birthday categories, just to not rely on the variability of savings challenges and just be more prepared when things pop up. That leads us to our mini Mondays. We should have $60 left here, 20, 40, 50, and 60. We do. We tend to save $30 a week for our mini Mondays, and I always try to have $30 already ahead so that if I'm not able to get to my cash stuffing but before a Monday pops up, we can still do our mini Mondays. So now this envelope has 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 85, and 90, and we are set for our mini Mondays in November. I think there's only 4. I think there's actually 5 Saturdays and Sundays in November, but I think we've got 4. I need to pay more attention to that for sure. And that's going to do it here for our blue binder. So again, all this prop money in this binder represents money that is in a savings account. The savings account is connected to our checking account, and it's used mainly more for variable types of categories and expenses, or things that are just connected to this bank specifically. That leads us to our red binder. This system is nearly identical. The only difference is that it is with a different bank. And these things are more fixed expenses, or just things that are connected to this particular bank. We have $232 to cash stuff here. Let's give it a count. We have 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, 150, 170, 190, 200, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31, and 32. So we have what we need to have. We'll go ahead and separate this out here, and there we go. And our red binder, again, similarly, all this prop money representative of money that is in that savings account connected to our checking account. We start off here with subscriptions and memberships again. So we do have an envelope very similar in both accounts, because there's just things that are connected to each of these accounts. And instead of just having it all in one, we're just leaving it as is and just knowing what is coming out when and where. So now subscriptions and memberships has 100, 200, 300, 400, 400, 500, 600, 650, 670, 680, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, and 93. $693. We have many things that come out at the end of the year in regards to subscriptions and memberships, including a credit card fee that we have associated with like one of those rewards cards. And so a lot of this will end up kind of going away and funding those things that we have coming up at the end of the year or right at the start of the year. But saving that 52 each pay period, just make sure that we are prepared when all of these things hit at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, just time-wise, that's just kind of when they all are situated. So garbage here is going to get $10. We've got 10, hang on, let's start in the back here. We've got 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. So this is a quarterly bill that we save a little bit each pay period for. Our electric year-end adjustment is going to get $5 here. Our electric bill, though, our comfort billing did just go up. I was like, wait a minute, how did it adjust now? Because typically at the end of the year, they do an adjustment, and sometimes we owe more than what the comfort billing covered for the year, but it did just go up a little bit. So we need to take a look at that a little bit more. We have now 150, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 96, and 97. 197, again, this usually gets used at the end of the year if needed for that adjustment that they make based on our comfort billing. Our gas for the winter season is just going to get $5 here this pay period. Our gas bill is not on a comfort billing plan, so what we do is we budget the same amount every single month, and then when we're under budget, during the months of summer and spring and maybe early fall, we save that extra money that we didn't use from our budgeted amount. Then in the winter time, when we're over that budgeted amount, we pull from this envelope to cover that overage. So we have 100, 200, 50, 70, 90, 310, 315, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34. So $334. Again, this has been building for quite a time now because we will be using this as we start using the heat a lot more with the cold weather. Pest control is going to get $40 here in 210, so we'll add that here. Now pest control has 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 91, and 92. $92 for pest control, leading us to lawn service, which is going to get 20, and it just has $40 now. And car maintenance then is next. Car maintenance is going to get $20. We use this primarily for like oil changes and things of that nature. We keep our car repairs and car emergency fund in our high yield. We now have 100, 20, 40, 60, 70, 71, 72, and 73, $173. I do know an oil change is likely coming up very soon with my vehicle too. And then home maintenance and projects is going to get $30 here, 20 and 30. Go ahead and add that in. It now has 20, 40, 50, 60, 61, and 62. Again, these are just things that might pop up with the home, but not our main home repairs fund or home emergency fund. We should be left with $50, 20, 40, 45, 50. Yep, because this is going to go to our Freebie Fridays. So we use our Freebie Fridays for this particular bank and to fill some of those other categories that we have. We tend to play with $25 a week here, 20, 40, 45, 50, 55, 56, and 57. We try to keep, again, that extra amount in case we're not able to cash stuff before those Fridays pop up. Looks like we need to do a little work with that here with this one. And that's going to do it here for my red binder. So now we're going to move into my high yield savings account here. And again, this is a combination of money from both of those banks that we have remaining, things that are non-negotiable sinking funds, as well as some savings challenges as well. So we have $1,144. Let's make sure that's what we have. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 657, 750, 770, 790, 810, 830, 850, 870, 890, 910, 930, 950, 970, 980, 990, 1,000, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, 100, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44. Okay, we've got it all. All right, so let's go ahead and divvy this out here. Again, this money goes to some non-negotiable categories. Primarily, we also use this money for some savings challenges as well. We kind of put it into our bank envelope for those savings challenges so we can save certain amounts each and every week. So we're going to start out here with our big binder, and we're going to go ahead and begin with our Save 2025 and 2025. I mentioned this is likely going to be moved here soon, which is why I have it pulled out, because as we get closer to the holidays, this money is primarily used for the holidays and Christmas. And as we get closer, I go ahead and move this money into our variable bank account. That way we can start using it. Even before we finish it, we'll go ahead and start using this money for Christmas. We are going to go ahead and add $87 to this one here today. 50, 70, 80, and then we have 7 ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we had a little bit extra to play with. So we're going to put the 84 into this savings challenge. Let me go ahead and cross off our 84 here. And again, I kind of have this loose and pulled out because we're going to be shifting this money over into our variable account so that we can use it. I'm going to grab these extra 3 ones because we had a little bit more to kind of play with and allocate here. We're going to add our $84 here to this, and we'll see where we are with this one. I have not pulled anything just yet. We're kind of getting ready here, so that's why I had it kind of separated and loose from my binder. But we now have 1,000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1,500, 600, 650, 670, 690, 710, 730, 740, 750, 760, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, and 73. 1,673. Is that right? With a question mark? I think that sounds about right. So we're going to keep this loose here. We did have $3 more that I'm just going to add to my year-long savings challenges. We're just going to kind of build this a little bit here. In 2025, I do want to have some other year-long challenges that we're going to work on. So this is going to be my bank envelope here that we're going to use. So moving right along here, we're going to move to my bank envelope for group plays. Here it is. So group plays is going to be receiving $30 here. This is the bank envelope that we use for that. So we're going to grab 2 10s and 2 5s. We tried to play with $15 a week here. So we do have a little bit of money that was remaining at the end here. There's a 20 in there too. So our group plays bank envelope now has 20, 30, 40, 45, 50, 51, 52, and 53. So $53 now for group plays. Looking forward to having some November group plays for this month. I got to put them all in here in the envelope still though. Collabs, we're going to add $30 as well. Same thing, 2 5s and 2 10s. There's nothing in it currently. We try to play with $15 a week, so we do 2 10s and 2 5s. I go ahead and exchange those for the 1s weekly when we go ahead and play these games. That's going to do it for this binder here. It just has our year-long, our group plays, and our collabs. And then let's go ahead and grab this binder here, which has our tinies and our monthlies. So our tiny challenges is going to receive $30 as well. So we're going to do that in 2 10s and 2 5s also. So we tried to play with $15 a week here, and so we got that stuffed. Then let's move on to our monthlies. I haven't changed my dashboard yet. I do have my new one for November. My Don't Be a Mummy, Save That Money is still hanging out here. We're going to add $60 in 2 10s, 2 20s rather, and 2 10s. We try to play with $30 a week. I still have a little bit of money. Again, I try to be at least a week ahead here for this one too. We've got 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 95. And $30 a week tends to be the amount that we try to play with weekly. So that gives those bank envelopes the money that we need for this pay period to play those games. And now let's go to some of our non-negotiables. This is all still sinking funds that are in our high yield savings account, but these are going to be our non-negotiable categories that we stuff every pay period. We don't rely on savings challenges to fund this for the date that it is expected. So we have $660 that's going to go into our property tax envelope here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We've got 50, and then we've got a 10. Let's go ahead and grab our property tax money here. So we've got, and again, this is a non-negotiable because we know when that due date is coming and we want to be prepared. So we know how much to save each pay period to make sure that we're ready. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 1,000, 100, 50, 200, 210. So 1,210 now in our property taxes, which is great. This just continues to build. We're going to move on now to our family category. We have our girls girls' savings account. This money here just came from our end of the month money moves. If you missed my video for my end of the month money moves, definitely go back and check that out. We're going to be adding that into some of our Save the Age savings challenges for our daughter's savings here. Each week we do go ahead and fill in a number on our Save the Age savings challenge. This can be found in my Etsy shop if you are interested. We are starting 16 for my older daughter here. We are recently having a birthday here. So this challenge is set up to be weekly, but because we are paid twice a month, we end up saving 2 each pay period. So we're going to go ahead and save $32 here for this one, and we're going to go ahead and shade in 2 of our 16s. Now, because this is a weekly challenge, but we only have 24 pay periods in the year, we usually do end up with a couple of circles or numbers that are not yet fulfilled, just because of those extra weeks that happen. So this is where our savings challenges usually come in here to be able to fulfill some of those numbers we didn't get to. We also do decide to keep this more private. This is a savings challenge that we have been working on for quite a number of years, but we haven't been perfect with it. But because this is money that is dedicated for our kiddos, we just decide to keep that a little bit more private. We are adding money into our 14-year-old tracker here for our other daughters. So we're going to be adding in $28. Whoop, hang on, 20, grabbing the 10, don't need it, 25, 26, 27, and 28. That allows us again to color in 2 of our circles here. And this one started a couple months back, so we are working on our first row here for this one. And again, just going to go ahead and stuff that money right in there as we determine to keep this a little bit more private on our channel. And that leads us into our pets category here. Our vet visits envelope is a non-negotiable as well. We add $42 to this every pay period, 20, 40, 41, and 42. This is for those annual visits for our pups and flea and tick medicine and all the things that happen yearly here. I do have a tracker here. This is available in my Etsy shop if you are interested as well. Each of my paw prints is $45 a piece, and when this is completed, it will be $1,350. We now have 100, 200, 250, 270, 290, 310, 330, 350, 370, 380, 385, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, and 91. 391. And someone did catch me that I ended up coloring in more than I needed to the last time at the end of October. So I'm not quite at 405, and I do have that shaded in. So we're not going to shade anything in today because I was just a little excited with the marker last time. So we have already enough shaded in on that tracker. And then moving right along to our education category, we're going to add in $30 into our school registration fees. So a 20 and a 30 here. And again, another non-negotiable here that we save for every pay period. We also have a tracker here, also available in my Etsy shop if you are interested. Hopefully I'm right on this one. We got the last one colored in as 256. Let's see, we've got 100, 250, 70, 80, 90, 91, 92, and 93. Okay, we are right. So 293, which means we get to color in 2 more. Let's go ahead and shade our little apples here in with our books. So 294 is what we have. Again, we just kind of take the total that we need to pay for our school registration fees, and we divide that by 24, and then that allows us to know how much to save each pay period so that when that time comes for that payment, we are prepared and ready. That's why we call these our non-negotiables. They're like our mandatory sinking funds. And that's going to wrap up this binder here. We're going to move on to our holidays and our home binder next. Holidays and home does have a category that is a non-negotiable as well. We're going to skip holidays though and go straight to home. That leads us into our HOA fees. So HOA is going to get $20 here. Now it has 120, 40, 60, and 80. $180 in our HOA fees envelope. We've also added in 2 new envelopes into our home category. We've added in a furnace envelope as well as a sump pump envelope. I talked about these with my end of the month money moves for October because we did go ahead and start by adding some money into this fund. These are things that in some conversations with my husband, we kind of talk about like what is coming up that we think that we're going to be needing replaced in the home, or just some different things that we need to try to plan for if we can. And some of the things that came up was our furnace and our sump pump. So we are likely going to need to replace our sump pump come next spring and summer, and our furnace maybe in 2026. Hopefully we can kind of fend that off for as long as we can, but we thought let's go ahead and start saving a little amount each pay period to help fund those things so we don't have to use any money from an emergency fund instead. So for the furnace, we're going to go ahead and add in $25 $100. Again, it's going to become a non-negotiable right now so that we can add some money in to help prepare for that. And then lastly, our sump pump is going to get $50. And we were able to add some money from our savings challenges at the end of October. Our sump pump now has 50, 70, 80, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, and 94. So already $94 just from one-time savings from our pay period, and then our savings challenges. We're almost at that $100 mark. And that is super motivating and exciting. One, to see those savings challenges help get it a boost, but also to know that, again, this will likely help us not need that emergency fund when that sump pump decides. Hopefully we can replace it before it decides just to kind of, crap out on us, right? So, but hopefully the emergency fund won't need to be used if that is to happen, that we are able to have enough time here to go ahead and save enough money for that replacement. The joys of home ownership. You gotta love it, right? Lastly here, our non-negotiable for our vehicles category is our registration renewals, and we add $20 here for this one. We did just renew one of our vehicles registrations here. Now we have 100, 220, so $220 now in this envelope. And that's going to do it here for our first cash stuffing of November for our non-negotiable mandatory sinking funds, as well as some savings challenges as well. If you enjoyed this video and you are not yet subscribed, I would greatly appreciate the support if you take a moment and hit that subscribe button. You can join me on my journey each and every week with the videos that I share. I appreciate you all being here. I know these videos can be a little bit longer, my cash stuffing and my end of the month money moves most recently as well. So if you are still hanging out with me here at the end, I truly appreciate you. Don't forget always to hit that thumbs up like button and leave me a comment down below too. I hope your November is off to a fantastic start. And if you missed my last video, don't worry, it'll pop up here on the bottom left-hand side and you can check out my previous video. Enjoy your day, take care, be well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.